Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today we're talking about this recent phenomenon. It came in one of these recent Google updates in late August 2021. Some people are calling this Titlepocalypse, where Google is rewriting page titles, which they always have done, but it's become more prominent. I don't have the stat in front of me, but some study that someone did said it's about 25% of titles. But I want to look at a couple things first. We've also done a video on this before about why Google rewrites your titles and descriptions, one of the more popular videos on this channel. But this recent phenomenon, it's more rolled out to more of the web than it has before. But let's look at a few reasons why. Okay, first we're going to look at what some of the people on the web are saying. Well, first, Morty Orberstein says, not all overwrites utilize the H1 of the titles being overwritten. Roughly 75% are utilizing the H1, which is the main tag that's on the page, not necessarily the title tag. The title tag is what shows up in the browser when you hover over it. And that is usually what, in most cases, shows up in the Google search results. Now, the H1 can be different. That's usually the main headline. It's written up in HTML. That's very interesting. John SEO Berries uses the parable of the scorpion and the frog. Recent SEO events at allegory is the scorpion. Sorry, not sorry. And the frog. Damn, dude. But this article from Search Engine Journal gives a few clues to this. So let's look at this. Is confirmed that they're updating the way that it generates web page titles and search results. And Danny Sullivan confirmed this. He said, last week we introduced a new system of generating titles for web pages. Before this, titles might have changed based on the query issued, meaning like what you type in. This generally will no longer happen with our new system. This is because we think our new system is producing titles that work better for documents overall to describe what they are about, regardless of the particular query, which is quite a bold statement to make, but it has been documented extensively since it was discovered in live searches last week. And this is so about August 17th or so. So is reported by those within the SEO industry. Google is in fact replacing web page titles with other on-page text. And I don't have the particular tweet in front of me, but somebody said, it's like the meme of the guy. He has the one twin over here, and then she's like got this like face, and then the other twin is like walking by, and the old twin is the title tag, and then the new twin is the it's the H1, it's the headline text, it's the alt text, and the anchor text is what we will see right here. So what it's saying here, we've gone beyond HTML text to create titles for over a decade. Our new system is making even more use of such text. In particular, we're making use of text that humans visually see when they arrive at a web page, so visible text on the web page. We consider the main visual title or headline shown on a page content that site owners often place within H1 tags or other header tags like H2 and down, or which is made large and prominent through the use of style treatment. So doesn't necessarily need to be H1, but if it's a big text, the biggest text on the page at the top, then they're going to use that, or elsewhere within the page. When replacing web page titles, the other text contained in the page might be considered, and they might use text that's within links pointing at pages, otherwise known as anchor text. Why is Google doing this? Danny Sullivan says they'll use other text in cases when a page's HTML title tag does not adequately describe what it's about. Doesn't adequately describe what it's about? So that can go either way, and I'll show you another article in a minute, but it's basically, it can go one of two ways. For example, it could be just somebody putting like home as the title tag, because they don't know how to edit the page, or for whatever reason. Or it could be people who go the completely opposite direction and they're keyword stuffing a page completely to the max. So too long, stuff with keywords, or contains no text or boilerplate text. Okay, so the update is designed to produce more readable and accessible titles for pages. We may add site names where that's seen as helpful, so they might know the name of your brand and put that in there. Or if there's a long title, we might select the most relevant portion rather than starting at the beginning and truncating more useful parts. So instead of going just from the beginning, if you have a super long title, which I've seen examples of this where they just take the front and then truncate whatever's at the end, they might take the most relevant parts. So this is very interesting. It says, focus on creating great HTML title tags. That's our advice. Is it still worth your time? A lot of people feel that it is. Danny Sullivan says the original HTML title tags will still be used over 80% of the times. So I want to look at this other article. Well, actually, hold on. Let's look at this. John Mueller, another Google representative. He says, I get the desire to simplify your change in rankings. This is relevant to change in rankings, but he's talking about titles. Oh, Google changed your title. That's why you're not ranking. But we use a ton of factors in ranking. It's so much more than the 5 to 10 words shown in a title. SEO is more than title tags, and that's why it needs experts like all of you. So there were people like saying basically these title tags being changed by Google was causing their rankings to drop. And actually, I did see some people on Twitter, they were sharing charts of stuff saying that, like, in some cases, there is a correlation between this recent rollout and things losing rankings. I don't know that I necessarily buy that specifically. Sarah Taher, hope I'm saying that right. She says Google is trying to reduce the number of search engine results pages, SERP titles, that are truncated by forcing a shorter title, which would make sense. That's better for their users. So for title tags that are divided with a hyphen, Google may end up showing only one part of the title. So if your title tag is what are vitamins hyphen, vitamins definition hyphen, understand vitamins, and then a pipe symbol, my health website, Google may end up showing only what are vitamins, pipe symbol, and then my health website. So that would show in the search results the whole title if they rewrite it, but like this other thing is not going to work. Okay, so here's another article that Dr. Pete, noted guy within the SEO community, Dr. Pete Myers, 9.5 ways that Google rewrites your title tags. So, and in some organizations, like large organizations, it might take a long time to get these approved. In smaller organizations, they might not take as long to improve this, but you create the perfect brand message, focus grouping it, and then all of a sudden you wake up, and they use the example here of MailChimp. And the title tag is all-in-one integrated marketing platform for small business. That's the original title tag, and now it just says MailChimp. Interesting. So why is Google doing this? Okay. So there's a lot of different ways that they do it. So the data, here's data that they collected from the Mozcast 10,000 keyword tracking set on August 25th of 2021, and compared to original title tags using Screaming Frog, which is a tool that you can crawl a site with. And they just did one collection each. They got 85,000 page one results, over 71,000 unique URLs, over 57,000 title tags. And of these, of the 57,000, there's 33,000 were rewritten. That's 58% of the title tags that you track were rewritten. So here's what he has to say about this. So he's showing one here where it's like the name of the website and then computers, computer parts, computer ... Okay, are these rewrites in the meaningful sense? This is the same thing that Sarah was saying a minute ago. but they're trying to, here's all the different ways in which they can rewrite. Now this is the traditional way, the simple truncation with the ellipsis symbol, the 3 dots. Google can only fit so much on one line, and so you can see here in this screenshot, like sometimes people they're basically writing like a couple sentences or a paragraph in the title tag. I mean, and that can't fit. Google's only got so much room in the search results to display a title tag. So they can truncate it. They can just go from the beginning and then just go until they normally hit the cutoff point. A complex truncation, in this case, is when they take stuff from the beginning here, and then they truncate, and then they add the brand name at the end. You can do that too because it knows your brand name. It's a pretty good sense of it. Goes to your site, sees the brand name all over the place. Okay, a rewrite truncation. And Dr. Pete says this might have started with the August 16th, 2021 update. Google's truncating long titles without displaying ellipses, and in some cases, taking the display title from other elements on the page. So in this case, there's a title. It's got, oh, I guess this is the name of a book or something like that, at congress.gov, Library of Congress. And it just rewrites from the middle, and that's it. And then just cuts the stuff off the beginning, which is not very useful. This stuff right here is not very useful. This stuff is not very useful. It's the middle of the title tag, but that's a useful title tag compared to the original one. So I would approve of that. Another scenario is the keyword stuffing. This scenario overlaps, but you can see this, like somebody's keyword stuffing the heck out of this. And they just take one part of it. Can't really concentrate. Oh, it's somewhere in here, but basically they're just mashing this up. And they're making a title tag there. So, oh no, he says that it's pulled from an H2 on the page. That's actually what it is. But it's an entire paragraph is wrapped in the H2. So, okay, so here's another one that he's showing us where this title tag is just a mishmash of words. And this is like the SEO joke. SEO walks into a bar, tavern, pub, whatever. And I don't know. I never like that joke. It's kind of like a simplification. It's how people try and spam stuff, but it's not how SEO has worked for a long time. But in this case, it just cuts it off. Family crest, coat of arms, and it just cuts off all this other garbage, which that's fine. Okay, so here's another case where it's squeegees, window squeegees, floor squeegees, grill squeegees. But in this one, it just rewrites it floor squeegees with the brand name. The brand name doesn't appear in the original title tag. Okay, men's wedding bands, wedding, says it again, Zales. It just cuts out the wedding part. Adds a hyphen, no pipe symbols. So that's interesting. Okay, so brand name added, I can do the same thing. Original title tag, here in this example, pregnancy symptoms, 10 early signs you must be pregnant. In this one, it just adds the brand name, which is WebMD. So that could cause people to click on that, I guess. This one's interesting. So the long brand name, Search Unified Communications. What is a PBX phone system and how does it work? That's a good title. But in this case, it has kind of a weird title rewrite. So it took a combination of the H1 tag and the brand name. So because the AI or whatever chose to fit in like the brand name, it only had room for like this little segment of the H1, Private Brand Exchange PBX. This original title is actually probably much better, but this is what it chose to do. I don't know if the machine learning is just kind of learning on what people click on and say like, oh, maybe this isn't good. Brand name moved. This one you see a lot. This one for several years has been a very common way that Google has rewritten title tags. This is one of the most common ways that I've seen it, is you can have your keyword message here at the beginning, manage computer services and IT for business, and then the brand name Cinch IT. In a lot of cases where you have a semi-strong brand, it will move the brand name to the beginning, add a colon, and then put that original text right behind it. I see that quite often. In this case, it goes the opposite way. It puts a brand name at the end. Actually, it's not even the brand name. It's or what they have in the title tag, where it's mixunit.com. They just use mixunit. So where is this coming from? Buy official mixtape CDs and downloads. That's probably a much better title than what they had here. Yeah, it's like at the tail end of the title tag. Okay, so title's too short. This title is just Turducken from the spruce. That's way too short. So in this case, they rewrote it. How to make Turducken from the spruce eats. So they add the brand name and they add this from somewhere else on the page. Here's another one for Praxis where it's a brand-only title tag. It's just the name, Praxis. Okay, so again, it pulls it from an H1 tag on the page. Prepare your teaching career with the Praxis tests, and then ETS. Dr. Pete says it's unclear whether Google's rewriting these titles because they're too short or they're not particularly relevant to the query. Here's an 8th example, relevance issues, where, as I mentioned, sometimes people just have home for the title tag. So this, I'm not sure where this is being pulled from, somewhere on the page, but Association of Fundraising Professionals Chicago, that's like the actual name of the organization. So that's a good rewrite, I think. So this one's an odd one. It's a title tag where it looks like they were going to put the brand name here, and then they have a pipe symbol in the best self-defense system in the world, but they just rewrite it to the brand name. Krav Maga Academy. And then they leave out the rest, the best self-defense system in the world. They just leave it out. Okay. Scenario 8.5, marketing lingo. So he said there was about 700 cases in their data set where Google rewrote a title with the word best in it to remove that word, which I find very intriguing. It took out the superlative. It says we're the best, which that makes a lot of sense, actually, because I think a lot of people do put that in there. I do think a lot of people put those in there as a means to try and rank for those specific terms. But this one said the best resume examples for 2021, and then my perfect resume. And now it's resume examples for every job title, my perfect resume. And it pulled it from the H1. It took out the best. It looked for something else. It didn't have like top or best or something like that. One of those superlatives that like people might type in, but just removing that kind of subjective adjective there. But they could have those as words to kind of flag within your title tag. Okay, so here's one. The original title is 10 must-do super fun things to do in Atlanta with kids. It took out the super fun. Now it's just, oh, and it actually added top. Instead of 10 must-do super fun things, now it's just top 10 things to do in Atlanta with kids. And it added the brand name. So that's an interesting one. So he also says similar patterns around marketing terms like cheap, official, and 2021, which is a hack that a lot of people have used with title tags, is adding the current year. A lot of people do that. I'll have to check some stuff right after I make this video, because but the original title tag here, 37 monogram gifts for 2021. A lot of people put an odd numbered thing in the title. I know a lot of people that use this as kind of a formula. They'll put a number in there. Sometimes if they can't make it a round number like 10 or 20, they'll make it an odd number like this. Does it work? I don't know. So the original title, 37 monogram gifts 2021. Memorable gifts to give for Mother's Day, and then the brand name Vogue. Now it's just the best monogrammed and bespoke gifts for Mother's Day. And it adds the best. So that's a very interesting thing, and it takes out the number. But it shows the H1 that it included both best and bespoke. That's very odd. So something I didn't like about that title. Okay, so query-based rewrites. This happens a lot too. So this one is the original title, doing an inmate search for Illinois Department of Corrections. The original title is Individuals in Custody. Now it's inmate search, Illinois Department of Corrections, or Illinois.gov inmate search, Individuals in Custody. Those are much better titles. In my opinion, I think those are better titles. But that's just what it did. Okay, I think there's one more here. Oh, maybe that's it. How do you prevent rewrites? There's no way to tell Google to rewrite your title tag. There's no way for any webmaster to opt out of this. Google is just going to do it, and you really have no say. So the best thing to do is, try and make a useful title, not keyword stuff. Don't make it too short, too long. Find, a length that's not too short, not too long, not overflowing to where it's going to be cut off. And if you're writing an H1 tag, make sure that you would not mind it being the title tag, because it seems to pull from this. Though people have said that they're pulling from alt text, from images, and they're pulling from H2s and H3s on the page, or anchor text. And then write for searcher intent. What are people actually trying to do? What goal are they trying to complete when they're coming to this page? And keep that in mind. So those are all good things. I hope that gives you a little bit of food for thought. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. We mostly help industrial companies, manufacturing companies. We do a little bit of local SEO as well. But we're here to help you. We're publishing videos. I'm publishing a video about once a week on this channel. So hopefully you found this useful. And if you did, be sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe. And until next time, peace.